Story time. Story time. You know we had to do another one, right? I called this one. She was a poet. For real, for real. So, meet this girl on a dating app. I think it was Facebook dating this time. We talked on the phone. I mean, she was cool, but she was very like conscious, like earth this, tree hugger that, I'm a vegan, women's rights, you know, all this stuff. But it just sounded a little off. And then she was saying like she was a poet. At this time, I was dating just to be dating. I wasn't like really looking for nothing. I was just really trying to, you know, stop from being bored. So call her up one day. I'm like, hey, you want to hang out this weekend or something like that? And she's like,
I don't know, you know what I'm saying? I don't know you that well.
I was like, okay, cool, no rush, no pressure, whatever. So I hung up. She ended up texting me like maybe like 20 minutes later, and she's like,
hey, I feel more comfortable if you come to like a setting that, you know, all of my friends and my people are gonna be at.
And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, I do poetry at this poetry venue or whatever. So I'm like, cool, I like poetry, I'll come. So I pull up to the poetry event, like a restaurant lounge situation, so you can do poetry and then they serve food or whatnot. So we sitting at the table, you know what I'm saying, we're about to order or whatnot. She's telling me, you know, all this different stuff about, you know, women's rights and, you know, all this stuff, just going on these rants. And then, but at the same time, these poets are coming up and performing. And when I tell you, every poet that performed was complete garbage. Like, but I felt like I was in the Matrix because everybody was clapping and they were excited and everything. And I was like, what in the hell is going on in here? Like, one dude got up there and, you know, I guess he like the leader of the poets or whatever, and it was his spot or whatever. So he had like dreadlocks. You know how a dude that had dreadlocks all on the side, but the top be bald, and then he was like slightly cross-eyed in one of his eyes. At this point, I felt like I was just like an outcast, like in this place, because it's like all these people they were all eclectic looking and weird and all this stuff. And so we order our food. So I'm like, hey, let me get the wings and the truffle fries. And so she orders a steak.
What?
I'm like, I thought you said you was vegan. I mean, don't get me wrong, nothing wrong, you know what I'm saying, with, you know, ordering a steak. But she just had told me this whole thing about her being a vegan and all the earth and this and all stuff like that. So I'm like, I thought you was a vegan. And she's like, well, this is 100% grass-fed meat. I'm like, it's still meat. And so she sort of got like a little annoyed.
She's like, you people try to tell us what things are just because we operate outside of your normalities and confusions.
And I'm like, novelties and confusion? You confused. I ain't trying to make a big deal out of it, kept it moving. So she tearing into this steak. Now me personally, I only order a steak if I'm at a steakhouse. I just don't order steaks anywhere. So she tearing into the steak, And so she's about to get up and do her poetry. And so all the people are clapping and they all like, oh yeah, you know, her, and she about to get up and do it. And I'm like, she must be a fire. But then I'm looking at all these weird people, so I don't know what's about to happen right now. So she gets up on stage, everybody gets quiet, like, and everybody's like on the edge of their seat, like Beyonce about to perform or something, right? And I'm like, then she gets into this whole poetry skit about basically a sexy red rap. Like she like, I'ma drop it down and I'ma pick it up and he gonna eat my butthole and he gonna lick it and he's gonna understand my empowerment. I'ma put his nose in it and he's gonna smell my essence. And I'm like, nah, this is, yeah, so. No, Ashton Kutcher here. I'm getting punked right here. No, I'm getting, where's the cameras? I'm getting punked. Like, cause like people was like literally on the edge of their seats like this, like, and I'm just sitting here like, what? No, y'all, this is trash. This is complete, utter trash. You know, she performed, she finished it up, people clapping, giving her standing ovation. And I'm just like, violation. That was terrible. So she comes back to the table. Now, listen, never ask a Virgo how something went, how you look in something. We are going to tell the truth. Our species is incapable of lying in these particular situations. So she comes back to the table. She's like, Tom, hey, how do you think I did? I was like, yeah, that was terrible. You do this all the time? Do y'all even know what poetry is? She's like,
what do you mean? You're so rude.
Huh?
going on and on and on. And I'm like, I mean, I'm like laughing because it's like, I'm literally thinking I'm getting punked because there's no way all these poets are absolutely trash. And she brought me to this situation. And I'm talking like dudes on stage, like rapping, then crying, and then pulling out like balloons and bursting them, talking about that was the Republican Party. I'm like, what? I mean, it was just crazy, fam, like crazy. So she gets up from the table. She disappears for like 5 minutes. She comes back and she has the owner dude and like like a bouncer. And so the owner dude is looking at me, but he cross-eyed. So one of his eyes is looking at me and the other one is looking at somebody else. And so he looking at me, he was like,
I hear you, we have a problem here.
and I was like, sir, who are you looking at? I don't understand. Are you staring at me or him? I don't understand. Who do you have the problem with? I'm confused. And so she's like,
You're just rude. You're just rude. And I knew you were the type that wouldn't understand this environment and the special people who are operating in it.
and I'm just like, I mean, the fries was good. These was banging. Like, what y'all put in these? And the dude, like, he like, you're going to have to leave. And I'm like, y'all kicking me out because I didn't like the poetry? Y'all, that's what y'all doing right now? She's like,
I'm blocking you on every platform. You won't be able to reach me ever again.
in my head, I'm like, that is a good thing for me. I don't understand how this, whatever. I get up, I'm laughing, like literally laughing the whole time, because they like, the cross-eyed dude is like pointing to the door, but his eye is looking over there and his other eye going here. So I'm like, you want me to leave or you want me to go sit down? I don't understand. I'm confused right now. I leave. I don't hear from the girl again, whatever. She ends up reaching back out to me like maybe 2 weeks later, because I was having an event and she wanted to be a part of it. And she was sort of trying to, hey, I was just wondering if you had any open availability for another performer in your showcase. And I was just like, nah, these are all talented individuals. Bye. Hey, but that's just another horrible dating experience. I'll see you in the next one.